Hello friends, today we will discuss on residues. In the last some lectures, we have discussed singularities of a function. Now we want to discuss residues at that singularities of the function. Residues at that singularities of the function. First of all, we will discuss the concept of residue at a finite point. Residue at a finite point. That means residue at some z equal to z0, which is finite point. Okay. So what this residue is now, if f has an isolated singularity at z0, if any function f of z has an isolated singularity at point z equal to z0, then the residue of f of z at z0 is given by this one, residue of f of z at z0. This is the notation of writing residue of f of z at z equal to z0, which is a minus 1. That is the minus 1th coefficient in Lorentz series expansion of f of z. We know that in this f of z we have this one, summation minus infinity to plus infinity ak z minus z0 to the power k f of z, right? We know this one is there. This has a Lorentz series expansion in 0 less than mod z minus z0 less than delta. So for every f of z, and if z0 is its a singularity, then it can be expanded in this way. Summation from minus infinity to infinity ak z minus z0 to the power k. Okay, k from minus infinity to infinity, k from minus infinity to. So here the coefficient of a minus 1, that is coefficient of a minus 1 is this one. Coefficient of a minus 1 means it is the coefficient of this term a minus 1 into 1 upon z minus z0. So it is the coefficient of 1 upon z minus z0 in the Lorentz series expansion of f of z, which is also given by 1 by 2 pi I integral over c f of z dz. 1 by 2 pi I integral over c f of z dz. That is the formula for finding this residue, where C is any circle centered at z0 and lying inside the disk about z0. So if f has an isolated singularity at z0, then the residue of f of z at the isolated singularity is given by the coefficient of 1 upon z minus z0 in the Lorentz series expansion of given function, or it is equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral over c f of z with respect to z. Okay, this is the definition of residue at a point, residue at a point z0. Okay, now residue at a point z0, where C is any circle centered at z0 and lying inside the disk about z0, lying inside the disk about z0. Now consider a function f of z. For example, consider a function f of z equal to cot z. Cot z can be written as cos z upon sin z. To obtain the singularity of this f of z, we want to see that where this function is not analytic, that is not defined. So this function is not defined at which sin z equal to 0. Sin z equal to 0. Now where this will happen? Sin z equal to 0 if and only if z is equal to k pi, where k is any integer. Where k is any integer. Therefore, k pi, z equal to k pi are the singularities of f of z. Z equal to k pi, where k belongs to z, are the singularities of f of z. Okay, and these are the simple poles. Also, we can say that at f of z equal to k pi. So singular isolated singularities at z equal to k pi, k belongs to z. Moreover, limit as z tends to k pi, z minus k pi cot z equal to limit as z tends to k pi, z minus k pi upon sin z into limit as z tends to k pi cos z. Okay, now we know that that is limit as z tends to k pi 1 upon cos z into limit as z tends to k pi cos z. Why 1 upon cos z? Because as z tends to k pi, this numerator becomes 0, denominator becomes. So this is 0 by 0 form. And in 0 by 0 form, using L'Hospitality rule, we say that its a limit is taking derivative of numerator as well as derivative of denominator. So limit as z tends to k pi, derivative of z minus k pi with respect to z is 1, derivative of sin z with respect to z is cos z, and this term second remains as it is. Now as z tends to k pi, this becomes 1 upon cos k pi, and this becomes cos k pi, right? Cos k pi. So again cos z cancels with cos z, we get only limit as z tends to k pi of 1, limit as z tends to k pi of 1, and which is equal to 1. So it is non-zero and exists. So limit as z minus z tends to 0, 0, z minus z0 of f of z exists and non-zero, then we know that that singularity is called pole of order 1. So f of z has a simple pole at z equal to k pi, also k belongs to z. So singularity is a pole of order 1. Singularity is a pole of order 1. Singularity is of three types. It may be isolated singularity also, no doubt. Isolated singularity may be removable singularity, may be simple pole of order of any order, and essential singularity. Okay. Now suppose z0 equal to 0. What will happen? So f of z has a simple pole at z equal to k pi there. Okay. Let z0 equal to 0, then f of z can be written as 1 by z plus summation from n equal to 0 to infinity a n z raised to n. Why we can write it as? Why we can write an where a minus 1, which is residue of f of z comma 0 equal to 1. What is the coefficient here? This one. Okay, 1 by z plus summation from n equal to 0 to infinity a n z raised to n. It is for cot z. It is for cot z, cos z upon sin z. What is your cos z upon sin z? Cot z expansion is of this type, 1 by z summation from n equal to 0 to infinity a n z raised to n, where 0 less than mod z less than pi, where a minus 1 residue is 1, and therefore integral over c cot z dz equal to 2 pi I into residue, that is 2 pi I, by using this one. Integral over 2 pi I into n. Now why we have written f of z in this way? We know that cos z is what? Expansion of cos z is what? 1 minus z plus 1 minus z square by 2 factorial plus z raised to 4 by 4 factorial minus z raised to 6 by 6 factorial, and so on. And what about sin z? Sin z is z minus z cube by 3 factorial plus z raised to 5 by 5 factorial, and so on. Now we want to obtain this whole cos z upon whole sin z. 1 minus z square by 2 factorial plus z raised to 4 by 4 factorial z raised to 6. We will divide it by this one. What we will obtain here? So if I divide by z minus z cube by 3 factorial plus z raised to 5 by 5 factorial to 1 minus z square by 2 factorial plus z raised to 4 by 4 factorial minus so on, what you will get? First of all, so what is here? 1. When it will be obtained? So if we multiply by 1 by z. So 1 by z into z is 1. So first term you will get 1 by z, right? If I am multiplying by this 1 by z to whole, 1 by z into z is 1. 1 by z into minus z cube by 3 factorial. It is minus z raised to 4 by 3 factorial. Minus z2 by 4 factorial. Z square by 4 factorial plus z raised to 4 by 5 factorial, and so on. So if we take the subtraction, it's minus 1. Now it becomes plus. Z square by 4 factorial minus z square by 2 factorial, that is you will get z square into 1 by 4 factorial minus 1 by 2 factorial, and higher powers of z, z to the power 6 we get, right? Z to the power 3 we get, 4 we get, etc. Again, if we want to take this z square into something, and here it is z, so we have to multiply by something into z. So this is the required polynomial, means this is the quotient here, and whose first term is 1 by z and other terms in the positive powers of z. That's why we have written some coefficients are there. F of z equal to 1 by z plus summation from n equal to 0 to infinity and positive powers of z. Therefore, the coefficient of 1 by z is a minus 1 here, isn't it? So a minus 1 is the residue of this f of z at z equal to 0, which is equal to coefficient of 1 by z is 1. Therefore, residue is 1. If we know the residue, So a minus 1 is equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral over c f of z dz. Therefore, integral over c cot z with respect to z is nothing but a minus 1 into 2 pi I, that is 2 pi I. So we can find integral of function by using residue also, or we can find residue itself also. Okay, that is the case. Here, C could be any circle around 0 in 0 less than mod z less than pi. If z0 equal to k pi, we have taken 0. Now, if z0 equal to k pi, then f of z becomes 1 upon z minus k pi plus summation from n equal to 0 to infinity a n z minus k pi to the power n. Okay, we can replace 0 by, means this is the expansion of cot z about z equal to k pi. So you will get this. Again, residue of this function is, residue is the coefficient of 1 upon z minus k pi, residue is equal to 1 again. Isn't it? Residue is equal to 1 again. The residue is equal to 1 here. Okay, that is the case. Okay. Here we know that the coefficient of z raised to k in 1 plus z raised to n is nck. 1 plus z raised to n. What is it? A plus b to the power n. We know that a to the power n 1 plus nc1 a to the power n minus 1 into z to the power 1 plus nc2 into n 1 to the power 2 1 to the power n minus 2 z square. So you will get z square. So we get plus up to plus nck z raised to k and plus last is ncn z raised to n in this way. So the coefficient of z raised to k in 1 plus z to the power n is nck. Therefore, we may write nck as coefficient of z raised to minus 1 in 1 plus z raised to n upon z raised to k plus 1. Why we are writing? nck is the coefficient of z raised to k in this expansion 1 plus z raised to n. Now, so what will be the coefficient of z raised to minus n? Minus 1 means you are multiplying z raised to k by 1 upon z raised to k plus 1. So that becomes, therefore, this is z raised to minus 1. So the coefficient of z raised to minus 1 in the expansion now becomes dividing by z raised to k plus 1 here. 1 plus z raised to n upon z raised to k plus 1. So therefore, residue of f of z at z equal to 0, because coefficient of z inverse in this, where f of z is 1 plus z raised to n upon z raised to k minus 1 is given by 1 by 2 pi I integral of this function 1 plus z raised to n upon z raised to k plus 1 into dz. So nck is nothing but 1 by 2 pi I integral over c of the function 1 plus z raised to n upon z raised to k plus n with k plus 1 with respect to z. Where c is any simple closed contour enclosing the origin. Okay, that is the case. Now we can, now every time we need not to make the calculations to obtain the residue. An important application of Lorentz series expansion is to find the residue of a given function by using Lorentz series expansion also. We have found the singularities by using Lorentz series expansion. We have found singularities by using Lorentz series expansion. We know that in the Lorentz series expansion of every function, there are two parts. One is analytic part, second is principal part. If there is no principal part, then we know that that singularity is removable singularity. We know that if there is a finite principal part and the highest power of 1 upon z minus z0 is k or m, then we say that the function has a pole of order m at z equal to z0. And if infinite number of terms in principal part are there, we know that at z equal to z0, the point is singularity is essential singularity. That is the use of Lorentz series expansion to obtain singularities. You can use the Lorentz series expansion to obtain residue also. And very simple, it is the just coefficient of 1 upon z minus z0. So every coefficient of 1 upon z minus z0 in the Lorentz series expansion will be the residue, and we can obtain that residue here. For example, let f of z equal to sin 1 by z. We know that z equal to 0 is the essential singularity of f. essential singularity of f, because in the neighborhood of z, there is again a singularity of this sine 1 by z. There is again a singularity of sine 1 by. In the neighborhood of z means, suppose we have taken very closer point of z equal to 0, that is 0.0005. So minus 0.005 to plus 0.0005. This is the neighborhood there. So such circle is there. So there is one more circular. So 1 upon this point is nothing but something 1 upon 0. It is a circle having radius 0.005. So this becomes 1, 1 0, second 0, third 0, fourth 0 divided by 5. Okay, 5 replace. So it will be something 20,000. So we get sine of minus 20,000 to means, if we find the circle having center 0 and radius 20,000, you will get number of again singularities of that. Number of singularities there. So z equal to 0 is the essential singularity of f. Now sine 1 by z. We know that sine z is z minus z cube by 3 factorial plus z raised to 5 by 5 factorial and so on. Therefore sine 1 by z is what? 1 by z minus 1 by 3 factorial z cube plus 1 by 5 factorial z raised to 5 for, now this valid for mod z less than 1, 0. Therefore this valid for mod z greater than 0, because 1 by mod z, this is for 1 by mod z. So this is valid for 1 by mod z less than 0. Therefore mod z should be greater than 0. Therefore residue of, now what is the coefficient of 1 by z here? 1. Therefore residue of sine 1 by z at z equal to 0 is a minus 1, which is the coefficient of 1 by z, that is z to the power minus 1, and so it is equal to 1. So we can also say that integral over c of sine 1 by z with respect to z is 2 pi I into residue, that is only again 2 pi I sine 1 by z, integral of sine 1 by z on along a circle C having center at origin with respect to z is again 2 pi I. Now 1 by sine of 1 by z square. If we expand it, we get first term as 1 by z square minus 1 by 3 factorial 1 by z square. It's a cube, that is 1 by z raised to 6. It's a 1 by z square, it's a power 5. Therefore z raised to 10 will be there, and this holds for mod z greater than 0. Now what is the coefficient of 1 by z here? That is 0. And therefore residue of sine 1 by z square becomes 0. Here also you can say that residue of sine 1 by z square with at 0 equal to 0, because there is no term of 1 by z there. So coefficient of 1 by z is 0. If I multiply this with z cube, then z cube into sine 1 by z square equal to z minus 1 upon 3 factorial z cube. You are multiplying by z cube. So if I multiply first term by z cube, you will get z. Second term, we get 1 by 3 factorial z cube. Third term, you will get this. Now what is the coefficient of 1 by z here? Here the coefficient of 1 by z is again 0. And therefore residue of this term also z cube sine 1 by z square at z equal to 0 is a minus 1, which is equal to 0 again. As this residue is 0, therefore integral of this function along any curve C having center at origin with respect to z is 2 pi I into residue, 2 pi I into 0, that is 0, where C is any circle lying about origin in deleted from that complex plane, 0 deleted from that complex plane. Now similarly we know that e to the power I is z equal to, we know that e to the power z, it's a Lorentz series expansion is also, or series expansion is nothing but e to the power z 1 plus z square by 2 factorial plus z cube by 3 factorial and so on, right? This holds for mod z less than 0. So e to the power I as z becomes 1 plus z is replaced by I as z plus I square a square z square upon 2 factorial plus I cube a cube z cube upon 3 factorial and so on for all. Therefore z to the power minus 4. Now we are multiplying by z to the power minus 4 to this one. What you will get? Z to the power minus 4. Then I a z upon z to the power 3. Then now I square is minus 1. That's why minus 1 is here. If I divide it by z to the power 4, you will get a square upon 2 factorial z square minus. Now here I cube is minus I a cube. Z cube upon z raised to 4 is z. Then next is z raised to 4. So you will get constant term here something. Then you will get the powers of z raised to 1, z raised to 2, z raised to 3 and so on. So this is the principal part in Lorentz series expansion. Now in this principal part, the coefficient of 1 by z is minus ia cube upon 3 factorial. Therefore, residue of z raised to minus 4 into e to the power ia z at z equal to 0 is minus ia cube upon 3 factorial, where a is in a complex plane C. Where a is in a complex plane C. We have one more example. If a is in C and n is natural number, n0, which is except from 0. n0 means what? Set of all natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Then n0 is set of all natural numbers including 0. That we are calling n0. That is 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Whole numbers we are taking. Then e to the power I z upon z raised to n plus 1 can be written as 1 upon z raised to n plus 1 as it is e to the power az. What is the expansion of e to the power az? That becomes 1 plus az plus a square upon 2 factorial plus a cube z cube upon 3 factorial up to a raised to n z raised to n upon n factorial, a raised to n plus 1 z raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1 factorial and so on, infinite terms, which is equal to, I will multiply by a to the power z plus 1 with this. We get 1 upon z to, we will multiply by 1 upon z to the power of n plus 1 to this one. What do we get? We get 1 upon z raised to n plus 1 plus a upon z raised to n plus a square upon 2 factorial z raised to n minus 1 up to so on. A to the power n z raised to n upon n factorial multiplied by 1 upon z raised to n plus 1, it becomes a to the power n upon n factorial into z, a to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1 factorial as it is, because this z raised to n plus 1 cancels with this, and now we get the powers of z. Here you will get z, then the term of z square, then the term of z cube and so on. So what is the coefficient of 1 by z in this Lorentz series expansion? It is this one, a to the power n upon n factorial. Therefore, residue of e to the power az upon z raised to n plus 1 at z equal to 0 is a to the power n upon n factorial. And we can obtain, therefore, integral of this function e to the power az upon z raised to n plus 1 along any curve C or circle C having center at origin is 2 pi I into this residue. That is 2 pi I into a to the power n upon n factorial along circle mod z equal to r. What is mod z equal to r? It is a circle having center at origin and radius small r. Radius small r. If a is a real and r is equal to 1, if a is real and radius is equal to 1, then we take z is equal to e to the power I theta. We know that z is equal to r e to the power I theta is there, polar form of a complex number. So r is 1. So I will take z equal to e to the power I theta. What will happen? Therefore, integral, now mod z equal to r is there, r is 1. So it is your circle mod z equal to 1. So what about theta? To get one circular, theta from 0 to 2 pi. So integral over 0 to 2 pi, that is integral over C, e to the power az, e to the power a into e to the power I theta, that is e to the power a into cos theta plus I sin theta, divided by z raised to n plus 1, that is e to the power I n theta, that is cos theta plus I sin theta to the power n plus 1 here, into dz. Dz is what? I into e to the power I theta is there, or derivative of cos theta plus I sin theta into d theta, and its a derivative is minus sin theta plus I cos theta with respect to theta, which is equal to 2 pi I a to the power n upon n factorial, because right hand side is this one. Now that is 0 to 2 pi e to the power a cos theta e to the power minus e to the power plus I a sin theta upon e to the power I into n plus 1 theta, this is e to the power I n plus 1 theta, into I into e to the power I theta, it is the derivative of this one, e to the power I theta, 2 pi I a to the power n upon n factorial. 0 to 2 pi e to the power a cos theta e to the power I a sin theta upon e to the power I n theta into e to the power I theta. Just it is a simplification. I into e to the power I theta d theta equal to this one. Right hand side remains. 0 to 2 pi e to the power a cos theta e to the power I a sin theta. Now this e to the 1 e to the power I theta cancels with this one. Okay, I cancels with this I. we get e to the power minus I n theta with respect to theta 2 pi a to the power n upon n factorial. This implies 0 to 2 pi e to the power a cos theta e to the power I into a sin theta minus n theta with respect to theta 2 pi a to the power n upon n factorial. So 0 to 2 pi e to the power a cos theta into bracket. We know that e to the power I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. So we get cos of a sin theta minus n theta plus I into sin of a sin theta minus n theta with respect to theta equal to 2 pi a to the power n upon n factorial. Equating real and imaginary parts, we get. Now the right hand side is in real number. There is no complex number. So we get, so this is a imaginary part. So integral from 0 to 2 pi e to the power a cos theta cos of a sin theta minus n theta equal to this real part 2 pi a to the power n upon n factorial. And if I take imaginary part, integral from 0 to 2 pi sin of a sin theta minus n theta with respect to theta becomes 0. So we get these two integrals here. Formulas for integral from 0 to 2 pi e to the power a cos theta into cos of a sin theta minus n theta with respect to theta equal to 2 pi a to the power n upon n factorial, and integral from 0 to 2 pi e to the power a cos theta sin of a sin theta minus n theta with respect to theta equal to 0. One more example is there. If C is a circle around 0 in punctured plane. Punctured plane means what? It is a plane excluding 0. Then e to the power 1 upon z raised to n is obtained in this way. E to the power z is 1 plus z square by 2 factorial plus z cube by 3 factorial and so on. So e to the power 1 upon z raised to n becomes 1 plus 1 upon z raised to n plus 1 upon 2 factorial z raised to 2n plus 1 upon 3 factorial z raised to 3n and so on for mod z greater than 0. Thus, residue of e to the power 1 upon z raised to n at z equal to 0 is a coefficient of 1 upon z. Now, so 1 upon z raised to n is there, isn't it? So if n equal to 1, the coefficient of 1 by z is 1. And if n is not equal to 1, then the coefficient of 1 by z is not there, that is 0. So therefore, residue of e to the power 1 by z raised to n at z equal to 0 is 0 if n is not equal to 1, and it is 1 if n equal to 1. Therefore, integral over c e to the power 1 by z raised to n into 1 upon 2 pi I dz is nothing but residue of f of z at 0, and it is equal to 0 if n not equal to 1, 1 if n equal to 1. So we get the formula for 1 upon 2 pi I integral over c e to the power 1 upon z raised to n. It is 0 for n not equal to 1, 1 for n equal to 1. There are some other terms, examples. We know that sin z minus 2 can be expanded as z minus 2 to the power 3 upon 3 factorial plus z minus 2 to the power 5 upon 5 factorial. This is the Taylor series expansion of sin z minus 2 about z equal to 2. So for mod z minus 2 greater than 0. Therefore, multiplying both sides by z minus 2 to the power minus 4, that is dividing by z minus 2 to the power 4, you will get 1 upon z minus 2 to the power 3 minus 1 upon 3 factorial z minus 2 plus 1 upon 5 factorial z minus 2 will be there because there will be first power. And now increasing powers of something into increasing powers of z minus 2, that is positive powers. Now here coefficient of 1 upon z minus 2 is minus 1 upon 3 factorial. Therefore, residue of z minus 2 to the power minus 4 sin z minus 2 is at z equal to 2 is minus 1 upon 3 factorial, that is 1 upon 6. Similarly, sin of 1 upon z minus 2 is nothing but sin of 1 upon z minus 2 is nothing but 1 upon z minus 2 minus 1 upon 3 factorial z minus 2 cube plus 1 upon 5 factorial z minus 5 to the power 5 and so on. Now what is the coefficient of 1 upon z minus 2 here? It is 1. Therefore, residue of sin of 1 upon z minus 2 at z equal to 2 is 1. Also, we can say that integral over c sin of 1 upon z minus 2 with respect to z equal to 2 pi I, where c is any circle having center at now 2. C is a circle C is of this type, mod Z minus 2 equal to R. Having center at 2, radius is something R. That can be written. This will be also there. Suppose one more example, let f of z is sine of z square upon z square into z minus a for a not equal to 0. Sine of z square upon z square into z minus a for a not equal to 0. Now, at z equal to a, this is not defined, and at z equal to 0 also, this is not defined. Then the singularities of f are z equal to 0 and z equal to a. Now we will find what type of singularities are there. So if I take limit as z tends to 0 of f of z, we'll get the limit as z tends to 0 of sine of z square upon z square into limit as z tends to 0, 1 upon z minus a. Now this is sine of z square upon z square. Its limit is 1, right? We know that because sine theta upon theta, 1 as theta tends to 0. So as z square also tends to 0, sine z square upon z square, the limit of this function is 1. So 1 into, as z tends to 0, this will get 1 upon minus a. So minus a, which is finite, not equal to 0 and exist also. In this case, we know that the singularity is removable singularity. Singularity is, so z equal to 0 is the removable singularity of f. How you can remove this singularity? By redefining the function. That means this is equal to, I have to write minus 1 upon a for z equal to a. This is for z not equal to 0 and z not equal to a. So it is a removable, z equal to 0 is the removable singularity of f. If it is removable singularity, that means principal part is absent from that. Principal part is obtained, there is no coefficient of 1 upon z, and therefore residue of f of z at z equal to 0 is 0. As f admits a Lorentz series expansion about 0 in 0 less than mod z less than mod a, we conclude that for any r with r less than mod a, integral over mod z equal to r, we are taking a circle having center, origin, radius r, sine z square upon z square z minus a into dz equal to 2 pi I into residue, which is equal to 0. Right? This is the case. If f is analytic at z0, then residue of fz at z0 equal to 0. Analytic means what? Since the function is analytic at z0, therefore there will be no principal part. Only analytic part will be there. Only analytic part will be there. So principal part is now absent there. If principal part is absent, then the residue will be 0. Then the residue will be 0. However, if fnz is bn into z minus z to the power minus n, right? That means fnz equal to bn upon z minus z0 to the power n, and b1 not equal to 0. That is, there is a coefficient of b1 means what? b1 upon z minus z0 is there. That is f1 of z. Then residue of fnz at z0 equal to 0 for all n greater than or equal to 2. Because for all n greater than or equal to 2, this will be square, cubed, etc. So there will be no coefficient of 1 upon z minus z0. But if n is equal to 1, then the coefficient of 1 upon z minus z0 is b1, and therefore it will be the residue. So residue of fnz at z0 is 0 for all n greater than or equal to 2, but residue of f1z at z0 equal to b1. Moreover, residue of f1z square at z0 is not equal to b1 square, because f1z is what? b1 upon z minus z0. What will be? f1z square, it will be b1 upon z, b1 square upon z minus z0 square. This is not the coefficient of 1 upon z minus z0. Therefore, b1 square is not the residue there. Therefore, it is not equal to b1 square. It is 0. Residue of f1 square at z0 is what? 0. There will be no term of 1 upon z minus z0. Okay, that is the case. We have a further result. If f has a removable singularity at z0, if f has a removable singularity at z0, then residue of f of z at z0 is always equal to 0. What means this? We have seen the example. If it has a removable singularity means what? There is no principal part. There is no principal part means there is no coefficient of 1 upon z or 1 upon z minus z0. And if it is a minus 1 is 0 there, that means residue is 0. In particular, if C is a simple closed contour containing only removable singularities as zk inside C, then integral over C, f of z dz equal to 0. If removable singularity is there, residue is 0. If residue is 0, then integral of that function is 2 pi I times residue. If residue is 0, integral is 0. Proof follows in the view of Lorentz expansion and Cauchy's principle for deformation control. No problem. Because removable singularity means this f of z can be written as summation n greater than or equal to 0, a n z raised to n, or z minus z0 to the power n of this type. So there is no principal part in the expansion of f of z Lorentz series. If there is no principal part, the coefficient a minus 1 becomes 0 here. That is, residue is 0. And if residue is 0, then integral also equal to 0, because integral is 2 pi I into residue. 2 pi I into residue. Okay, that is the case. For example, we know that this is the example. We know that cos z minus 1 whole square upon z square. What about this? Cos z minus 1 whole square upon z square. Now this is singularity is at z equal to 0. So z equal to 0 is the singularity. Now we will see that whether it is a removable singularity or pole or something else. Now, when we say that removable singularity, if limit as z tends to 0 of cos z minus 1 whole square divided by z square is exist finite L. If it exists, then we can say that it has a removable singularity. And we can say that, now see here, limit as z tends to 0, cos z minus 1 whole square upon z square equal to limit as z tends to 0. Now what about this? 0 by 0 form. So L'Hospitality rule says take the derivative of numerator as well as derivative of denominator. So we get 2 times cos z minus 1 into derivative of cos z minus 1 is minus sin z upon 2z. Now 2 cancel. Again, this is 0 by 0 form. This is because it is limit as z tends to 0 minus of sin z into cos z minus 1 upon z. Cos z minus 1 upon z. As z tends to 0, sin z tends to 0 as well as z tends to, so again it is 0 by 0 form. So take again its derivative. Or just find limit as z tends to 0 sin z upon z into limit as z tends to 0. I will write here minus of cos z minus 1 as 1 minus cos z upon 1. We know that limit as z tends to 0 sin z upon z is 1. It exists. 1. And what about limit as z tends to 0 1 minus cos z upon 1? There is no denominator. Therefore, this is not infinity. It will be some finite. Limit is 0. And 0, it's a limit. Cos 0 is 1. So 1 minus 1, 0. 1 into 0. 0 is also there. So it exists. So if limit as z tends to 0 exists, then we say that the z equal to 0 is the removable singularity of this. So z equal to 0 is a removable singularity of this function. If it has a removable singularity, we know that principal part is absent in the Lorentz series expansion. That is coefficient of 1 upon z is absent there. That is 0. Therefore, residue of cos z minus 1 whole square upon z square equal to 0. Once we say that the function has a removable singularity, its residue is always equal to 0, and its integral over any closed circle C having center as singularity is also equal to 0. Now, limit as z tends to 0, z square upon sin square z equal to limit as z tends to 0, 1 upon sin z upon z whole square, which is equal to 1. It is equal to 1. Therefore, at directly z equal to 0, this is not defined, but limit exists. Therefore, z equal to 0 is removable singularity of z square upon sin square z. As removable, therefore, residue of z square upon sin square z at z equal to 0 is again 0. Is again 0. Okay, that is the case. One more result is there. If f has an isolated singularity at z0, and if f is even in z minus z0, that is, even function means what? We say that a function is even if f of minus z is equal to f of z. That is, if I replace z by minus z, then we get same image. That function is called even function. So if f has an isolated singularity at z0, and if f is even in z minus z0, that is f of z minus z0 is equal to f of minus of z minus z0, then residue of such functions at z0 is always equal to 0. So if a function is even in z minus z0, then and z0 is the singularity of that function, then residue of that function at singularity z0 is always equal to 0. Therefore, integral along any circle having center at z0 of that function is also equal to 0. Suppose that f is even in z minus z0, then the Lorentz series expansion around z0 cannot have odd powers of z minus z0. Cannot have odd minus odd power. Lorentz series means what? It is summation from k equal to minus infinity to plus infinity ak z minus z0 to the power k. Now there is no, so if when we say that this is even, if its a power is even, then and then only it is even. Otherwise, for odd powers, if I replace z minus z0 by minus of z minus z0, so here, if there is a term of this type, z minus z0 cube, so what is the minus of z minus z0 to the power 3? It will get minus z minus z0 to the power 3. These are not same. So when these two will be same, only if these powers are even. This means that Lorentz series expansion contains only even powers of z minus z0. That means there is no term containing 1 upon z minus z0 because this power is odd. So as there is no term containing 1 upon z, no doubt there will be the term containing 1 upon z minus z0 square, 1 upon z minus z0 power 4, 1 upon z minus z0 to the power 6 and so on. But there will not be any term having 1 upon z minus z0. That means the coefficient of 1 upon z minus z0, a minus 1 is 0 here. And if that coefficient is 0, residue is 0. Obviously residue is 0. That is a minus 1 is 0, means residue is also 0. Now we'll take one example of this also. Consider the function f defined by f of z is equal to 1 upon z square into z square minus a square. Now here z equal to 0 is one singularity and z equal to a is also singularity. Z equal to a is also singularity. Now the point 1 upon z square is a double pole because 1 by z square is there. Now here, why we are saying limit? Can we say that limit as z tends to 0, 1 by z square into z square minus a square exists? No, it doesn't exist, isn't it? But limit as z tends to 0, z square into this function 1 upon z square into z square minus a square, this will exist because z square cancels and we get limit as z tends to 0 of 1 upon z square minus a square, which is minus 1 upon a square. So exist. Therefore, and it is finite, not 0. Therefore, we can say that this function has a pole at z equal to 0 of order 2 because you are multiplying by z square. Similarly, z square equal to a square, that is z equal to plus or minus a. So z equal to plus a and z equal to minus a, 1 times. These are the simple poles of this function f of z also. So z equal to 0 is a double pole of same function f of z, and z equal to plus a is a simple pole, z equal to minus a is a simple pole. What the above result says here? Above result says that if f has an isolated singularity at z0 and f is even in z minus z0, then residue of that function at z0 is 0. Whether this is even function now, this means that z equal to 0 is singularity, z equal to a is also singularity. Is it even function in z? Yes, because if I replace z by z square, you will get same result, z by minus z. So we get f of minus z as 1 upon minus z square into minus z square minus a square. That is 1 upon again z square into z square minus a square, which is f of z. So this function is even in z to the power something, in the powers of z. Therefore, the residue of this function at z equal to 0 is 0. Similarly, this function even in z minus a also. Therefore, this shows that the residue can be 0 even though f has non-removable singularity. So this is non-removable singularity. It is not removable singularity. It is a pole of order 2. And second also simple pole. So residue of f of z at 0 is 0. This shows that in previous example, we have shown that if the function has removable singularity, then its pole is 0. But it is not only that. If f has a non-removable singularity, then there may be such singularities at which residue is again 0. Non-removable singularity, a function having non-removable singularity may have residue 0. Okay, in previous example, we seen every function having removable singularity at z0 has a residue 0 at z0. But not that it is also said that even a function is non-removable, then also its a residue may be 0. Similarly, if f of z equal to e to the power 1 by z square, now this way we know that similarly this function has an essential singularity at z equal to 0. F of z equal to e to the power 1 by z square has an essential singularity at z equal to 0. Has an essential singularity at z equal to 0. We know that. Now, how it is function is, whether it is even or odd? Obviously even function, because f of minus z equal to e to the power 1 upon minus z square, which is e to the power 1 by z square, which is equal to f of z. Function is even in powers of z. Therefore, the residue of this function at z equal to 0 is 0. Essential singularity. So, removable singularity at z0 implies residue at z0 is 0. Not only that, there are some functions having a pole at z0. In that case also, the residue may be 0. And if the singularity is essential, in that case also, the residue may be 0. Not every time 0, but maybe 0, we are saying. These are some examples of even functions. Residue of sine of z to the power minus 2, that is 1 upon sine z square. This is 1 upon sine z whole square, f of z. Now, is this function has a singularity at z equal to 0, z equal to pi, z equal to 2 pi, means z equal to k pi, where k equal to 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2, so on. Therefore, and regarding this singularity, what about this function? Sine square of z minus k pi. Can I write it is sine square of z minus k pi only? Sine square of means 1 upon sine square of z minus k pi. You know that it is equal to 1 upon sine square of z minus k pi. Same thing again. So, even function in z minus k pi. And therefore, as it is even function, singularity at k pi, its residue is 0. This function is also even function. If I replace z by minus z, this will be sine z square. So its residue is 0. This also even function. Why this is even function now? See, f of z is what? Here f of z is z cube into sine 1 by z. So f of minus z becomes minus z cube sine 1 upon minus z. Minus z cube into minus of sine 1 upon z. Z cube sine of 1 upon z, that is f of z. So function is even, and as it is even function, residue is 0. Similarly, sine z minus z upon z cube, this also even function. If we replace z by minus z, we will get same thing there. This also even function. Cos of minus z is same as cos z. So residue is 0. This is also even function, and therefore residue is 0. So if the function is even, then the residue is always equal to 0. Okay. For this, we will stop here, and remaining part we will see in next section.